This video is to allow you to correct your homework for section 2.2.1. And I want to point out to you that in the math notes, which is also in your toolkit, they remind you about how to do multiplication using generic rectangles. So if you're new to the district or the curriculum and you're not familiar with these, please look this over. Remember that this will lead directly into work that you'll be doing with algebra down the road. But the basic concept is if we're trying to take 67 times 46, we break this into 60 plus 7, 40 plus 6, and then we multiply the portions. So 40 would be multiplied by 60 to give us this, 2,400. 40 would then be multiplied by 7 to give us this, 280. 6 multiplied by 60 to give us the 360. 6 multiplied by 7 to give us the 42. And then you're combining all of the sections inside to get the total. And then this is the way they typically want us to write that information. So for the homework, they remind you again to look at those math notes and then use generic rectangles to complete these. So for 54 times 32, I've broken it into 50 plus 4, 30 plus 2. Again, 30 times 50 is 1,500. 30 times 4 is 120. 2 times 50 is the 100. 2 times 4 is the 8. And then you're going to be writing that in this way. Okay. And then, of course, getting a final total. Same concept with 91 times 78 and writing that answer correctly. So again, make sure you're showing this, make sure you're writing it in this way, and make sure you could reproduce generic rectangles as needed. Here they want you to look at these distances that are given to help Cecil cross the tightrope. You have to find at least 2 ways to get Cecil across. Now remember, the ways that you put them could be different than the ways that I indicate them, and that's okay. So, writing your solutions, they want you to make them numerical expressions, which remember means you're only using numbers and symbols. So, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division operations. So, if we want to do a distance of 6 feet and we have lengths of 1, 3, and 4 feet, one way you could do it would be 4 plus 1 plus 1. That's a numerical expression that only uses some of these values and equals this. Or you could go with 3 plus 3 or 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. And there's probably others as well. Keep in mind this is related to, of course, our classwork notes, but the idea is that you can use these values more than once. You could use positive or negative, or you can think of it as addition or subtraction, and you need to get this value. For part B, you can only use 2, 5, and 7. Again, you don't have to use them all. You can use them repeatedly, and you need to get 8 feet. So I have some numerical expressions here, and I did put some negative in there as well. So 5 plus negative 2 would work, or 5 plus 5 minus 2. 7 plus 5 plus negative 2 plus negative 2. Again, there's more options if you came up with something different. Here you want to simplify, which of course, remember, simplify just means find the correct answer. What does it equal? So 5 plus 2 plus 8, of course, would equal 15. This would equal 16, and so on. You do not have to show work here, but make sure you can do these with mental math or by writing them down. Here you're going to copy these incomplete number lines and label the missing numbers. Again, what I'm looking for work here would be something like this. 0 to 20 is a difference of 20. Divided by 2 sections means we're going by tens, and that allows us to find the missing values of 10, 30, and 40. Here, difference between 0 and 32 and 4 tenths is 32 and 4 tenths. And we're dividing that by 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. 32 and 4 tenths divided by 4 would be 8 and 1 tenth. So we're going up by 8 and 1 tenth each time, which means we have 8 and 1 tenth missing, 16 and 2 tenths, 24 and 3 tenths. This one is already given, 40 and 5 tenths. So again, don't just have what I have here, also put down what we are going up by. And then the same concept in these others as well. Make sure you're showing your work. Now, for D, it might be a little confusing because when you take the difference between 0 and 10, which is 10, and you divide by 3 sections, it does not come out to be a whole number. It comes out to be 3, and 3.3 repeating, 3 and 1/3 would be another way of thinking of it. So 3.3 repeating, or 3 and 1/3, 6.6 repeating, or 6 and 2/3, then the 10, 13.3 repeating, or 13 and 1/3, and then 16.6 repeating, or 16 and 2/3. All right, for this one, we've got our 4 quadrants. Remember that quadrant 1 is here, and a lot of times we write that with Roman numerals. And then we've got quadrant 2, 3, it's hard to write with mouse, so I apologize, and 4. So the way to list the quadrants is to start in the upper right where we have positive x, positive y, and then go counterclockwise. So what they want to know is if the coordinates for point A are -3, +5, which they are, how does those numbers tell us the position of A? So you might say it tells you that you're going to look for the intersection between -3, which is on the x, and -5, which is on the y, and where those two intersect is where we find point A. Okay. If you found a different way to word that also comes across with the same information, that would be fine. Then they want you to name the coordinates for point B and C. You do not have to have work shown there, but make sure you can do that. And if Samantha moved point A, just here again, 9 units down and 6 units to the right, where would she end up? So one way you could do that is on the graph, you could count 9 units down and 6 units to the right, or you could take the y value, which is the up and down, and in other words, the value of 5, and if we're going to go 9 units down from 5, figure out where would that land. Think of it like a vertical number line. Where would that land in terms of the y value? And if you took the x value of -3 and went 6 units to the right, in other words, take -3 and add 6 units to it, where would it land in terms of the x coordinate? So what you would get, whether you graph it or whether you reason it out that way, is +3, -4. How are we getting that again? Well, right now we have a being -3. If we add 6 units to the right, we're going to get +3. Right now, the y value for A is 5. If we go 9 units down, we're going to end up at -4. So again, make sure that you could do that on a quiz or test as well. Here, we're getting this data, and the data is based on the number of minutes that Gracie is talking on the phone. So first of all, they want you to find the mean and median. Again, make sure you're showing the work. I want to see what you added, what the total was, and what you divided by to get the mean. And I want to see the numbers in order and how you picked out the middle value for the median. Okay. So these are the correct answers, and you're allowed to use a calculator, but I still want to see some work. And then which would give her the most accurate information about her phone use? Well, that's ultimately up to you, but typically if there's outliers, we say that median is a better indicator about the information, more typical value, because we have these outliers of 0 and then an outlier also of 120. We would probably say that median was a more accurate representation.